Wah, wah, wah. So a couple of days ago, I made a video where I compared Jacqueline Glenn and DarkMatter2525's videos to Robert A. Moore's paper from 1983. And when I did that, I made it very clear that there were many iterations of the information that were presented in all of those that happened throughout the years. But DarkMatter2525 and a couple of his fans commented on my video, and they said that what I had shown didn't show anything. It wasn't much of substance, and I disagreed. And what I did show was 9 thematic points being compared between those two videos and Robert A. Moore's paper. But some of them said that it's not plagiarism if it's just those thematic points, that there was no numbers lifted directly from Robert A. Moore's paper, and there was no exact wording, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to address that. Okay, I showed the thematic points being lifted, right, and that was where my goalpost was, okay, and their goalpost now presented to me, as I understand it, is I have to show that numbers were lifted that ended up in DarkMatter2525's video, right? And it has to be from a source that is also making fun of Noah's Ark in a way that shows those numbers to be absurd, right? That's where I understand this new goalpost is, okay? And if I hear any more about definitions and goalposts and whatever, I'm just going to think that you guys are trying to conjure up Together for Peace, okay? So this new goalpost, right? I'm not going to argue about it. I'm not trying to move any goalposts. I'm going to meet you where you're at. Okay, that's where I understand you're at. I'm going to meet you. Now, in my video, I made it clear that those iterations got closer to what we saw in DarkMatter2525 and Jacqueline Glenn's video, the closer you got to them in years. And so, in order to hammer that point home, because you didn't get it the first time, I had my favorite shitlord, Lizz Reptile, mock up a very apropos diagram. It's based on the Human Centipede. That's a attribution right there. But here we go. This is Robert A. Moore's paper, right over here, right? And this is DarkMatter2525, and this is Jacqueline Glenn. The ass end of the plagiarism Human Centipede shit-eaters. Right here, okay? So as you get further away from Robert A. Moore's paper, and you get closer to DarkMatter2525's video right here, you get closer and closer in theme and in numbers. Now, so what I have to do in order to show you some numbers that look particularly lifted is move my focus from over here where I traced all the plagiarism to and show you some of the examples on this part of the scale, right? So that you can see exactly how those were lifted from there, and then these were lifted from there. Now, I can't show you every iteration of this in one video because over the years it happened plenty of times, especially creationist on creationist plagiarism. But by the end of this video, hopefully I will teach some of you some techniques in order to find iterations like this and search for plagiarism on your own. But I will at least satisfy the goalpost as I understand it, and here goes. So my first example comes from superbeefy.com, and the article on it was written in 2008 by Karen Hill, right? But it's not the article that I want to point out, okay? It's actually some comments, and you have to look at the date on the comments in order to see what I'm saying here. The post in particular that I'm talking about is right here on the shit-eater scale of plagiarism, right here on the Centipede, right? It was 10 days before Dark Matter's video. Now, in this example, you'll see that there are the elephants.
Elephants are going to require 365,000 pounds of food.
The giraffes.
I mean, the giraffes are going to need 54,750 pounds of food.
The hippos.
The hippos are going to need 65,700 pounds of food.
The pounds of meat for lions.
The 2 lions are going to need 16,060 pounds of meat.
Which would rot, which is another thing that he lifted for his video.
I mean, all that meat's going to rot. God, have you thought this through?
But you'll see that the numbers are just slightly off from what Dark Matter was using. And that's because they're rounding from another source farther up on the food chain. But for the purposes of this video, I just showed you an example of me reaching your goalpost. Now, let's try another. 2005, Google crawled over a page on answersinnature.com that was all about Noah. Now, the entire theme of this page was making fun of Noah's Ark by showing how absurd the numbers were. Now, on this page, you can see an infographic that looks almost exactly the same as the ending of Dark Matter's video. Now, it's got the length, the width, the construction, you know, the capacity, all of these things, right? Now, for the benefit of those Dark Matter fans or Dark Bots, or what I'm now just going to call you Cupcakes, because DarkMatter2525 has short man syndrome and it shows in all of his comments on my videos. I'm going to just think ahead and say, you're going to probably say, yeah, Google cached it in 2005, but maybe they swapped out the image since then, and you haven't proved anything yet. So, in order to show you the ultimate in this chain of plagiarism, starting and finishing with DarkMatter2525 here, I'm going to take you to the beginning, where actually this joke started as a Christian joke, okay? So, it's from this website called donaldsanna.tripod.com. Now, this infographic is copyrighted, what, 1998? Right? Holy shit. And it looks like it. It really does look like 90s HTML programming of a website. It's very basic. But you will see that in the statistics between Noah's Ark and the RMS Titanic, the length, width, and height are all there. The construction of the ship is there. You know, the boat's built of, right? He didn't even change anything, okay? Through the years, this information has been lifted from person to person to person. Just sucking up the shit of plagiarism from person to fucking person, okay? But in just the case of this infographic, DarkMatter2525 is not near the ass end of the plagiarism. He's actually more towards the center, because after he made his video, which became wildly popular and was seen by over 1 million people, those fucktards on r/atheism on reddit.com stole the idea from him and started repackaging it, first by just clipping it out of his video and sharing it around, but then by making spoofs of his information and putting different ships in the images. And basically, the chain doesn't have to stop, right? It doesn't have to stop. And actually, somebody may, in the future, it's probable, somebody may plagiarize Jacqueline Glenn and become the new ass end of the plagiarism Human Centipede of shit-eaters. Right? So, when DarkMatter2525 claims that he didn't plagiarize anything, he's a fucking liar. And I know he's going to point to the parts of the video that might have been his own, like the botched calculations on Mount Everest, but he's still a fucking liar trying to divert your attention from the things that he did steal. And by the way, check out this cool t-shirt. It's Noah's Grill, and it says, "Bring me 2 of every animal." I love this t-shirt. And he goes on in my comments section, almost like, as he was doing battle with all those apologists, he picked up a lot of tricks. He seemed to especially want to insult my interest in making this video in the first place, as not just me being pedantic about plagiarism, but, you know, all sorts of things like I'm the new TMZ of YouTube. He wants to, like, if he says it another time, and then we walk around a table 3 times, I'm going to have this magic label on me that's just going to curse me forever, right? Actually, I have a little bit of respect for TMZ because I've recently opined in a video on the Breakfast Club that I can't keep to the same formula, and my mind and interests go all over the place. So, yeah, it's weird to call me the new TMZ of YouTube, but I'll take that and I'll trade some punches with you. Here's a good left-right. I'm going to begin with, I asked you, a person who holds yourself as a skeptic, to attribute your sources in the description box of your video, and you didn't. For the better part of this week, you've been leaving long comments on my videos, but you couldn't be arsed to cite your sources, and you still claim that you're the one who came up with these numbers, that you had to dig from different sources and compile them together, and you know, bullshit, okay? You couldn't cite your sources when you were asked, okay? There's a little left jab. And here comes the right cross. I think that you're now the Led Zeppelin of YouTube because people are still going to watch your show. Even though they know that you stole a little bit and integrated it into your shit, they're still going to watch you, so yeah. If you were half the man that your fans thought you were, then that would burn for you, but, you know, probably that joke fell flat for everyone else. So I could go on and on with other examples, but instead, I'm going to teach a man to fish and teach you all how you should scrutinize DarkMatter2525's videos, and that is to start a Google search with any of the facts that come up from his videos, then put in the tools, put in a custom date range, and then put the date of his video as the end date, okay? And leave the first date open. Then look for the terms that he's using, and then you'll find some of these terms, and then you'll see where he's plagiarizing from. And you'll see where those people plagiarize from. You'll see where those people plagiarize from. And that nobody is attributing anyone, especially in regards creationists. Holy shit. Creationists have like 100-person long fucking shit-eating Human Centipede of plagiarism. But that's all for me for now. I could go on, but I've got other things to do in my weekend. If you guys think that there's another goalpost that I have not met, like we've gone from one to another, tell me in the comments below if you have something else that you'd like me to prove that I didn't prove. Okay? Go ahead, and then I'll tell you if that's a realistic next goal and that if I can achieve it, right? And also, I've got a question for you guys. Please give me a big thumbs down if you think DarkMatter2525 is uglier than me, and then give me a big thumbs up if you think that I'm cuter than DarkMatter2525.